Hello guys at home. How are you guys doing? You are all welcome to Bits and Pieces with Murphy Ojo again. I'm very sorry. I've been having a bit of an issue with my wireless mic, so that's why I'm using this. I hope you can hear me very well. So, how are you doing guys? I hope you had a very good weekend and everything is going on smoothly. So, what do we have today? I will not take much of your time. According to the topics that we have today, we said, who is CQC? And then maybe you guys, you're surprised, how do I get to who is CQC? Just the past week, I was talking to one of the carers, and then I was talking about every issues, and I was mentioning CQC. And suddenly, the carer said something, said, who is CQC and what do they do? So I explained everything to the person, but I said, okay, it might be another opportunity for me to, just to discuss this thing with everybody. So we'll be able to know who is CQC and what do they do. And that is the first part of the program tonight. The second part that I will talk about is the cultural differences in delivering your care. Sometimes it's not that carer don't have enough training, but it's just the way he or she used to might not be the way the clients actually used to. I believe you are getting me. The cultural differences between the clients and the carer, that will be the second part. So let me jump straight into the CQC issue. What is CQC? CQC, that is the short form of Care Quality Commission. What they do is to regulate all activity, all regulated activity in the country. They actually cover England and then I think Wales. I think there is another this thing in Scotland, but they do the same job. I will not talk much about the provider side, because before any provider can say, okay, they are provider, they have to register with CQC, provided they are going to carry out regulated activities. And one of the regulated activities is like something like personal care. You want to give medication, you want to give your client a wash, transfer your client from one end to another. So all those activities, you've got to register if you're a provider. I won't go there. I'm actually about carer. Anything that can help carer to do their job perfectly, that is why I'm here. So all the jobs that you're doing, like you're giving personal care, as I said earlier, you're giving them a wash, shower, bed bath, whatever. You're transferring your clients from one end to another end, using equipment or not using equipment. You are giving medication. Yeah, all these are regulated activities. So, and whenever they come for their inspection, they normally speak to carer. They speak to your managers, and they will have time to speak to a carer and the client. You can be called, because what your organization will do whenever they come for the inspection is to send them all the list of their carer, all the list of their clients, and then randomly they will just pick people, and then they will be calling them. I've seen a case whereby CQC was on the phone with a carer for more than an hour. Imagine you just come back from work, and then they called you. I call them almighty CQC, because they can mar or break your life if you go in the wrong way. I'm not saying that is what they do. They just regulate activity. They make sure that you and your organization, you follow the laws. You follow the laid down regulations. There are different kinds of regulations to your organization. The Regulation 18, which deals with fit and proper person employed, meaning that for your organization to employ you, they must make sure that you fit for that job. You have the experience that is needed to do the job. You have the skills, you have the training that is needed to do the job. If you do not have all this, then your organization have gone against that particular regulations. There's also regulation, I think 18. The first one I mentioned was 19, and this one is 18. That is about staffing. They must make sure that there are enough trained, experienced care to carry out those jobs. You don't need 5 stars. I only have 1. You know there will be a problem. So that is about organization. For you that you are a carer, you must make sure that you do your job to a perfection. There is no ifs but buts. Just make sure you do what you need to do. Don't let maybe anybody to cause you an issue. Because when problem starts and anybody you are involved with CQC, it's always massive. They don't only regulate the care provider, they regulate all the hospitals in this country. That's what I said. All health activities, regulated activities, hospitals, residential home, nursing home, home care providers, they regulate all their activities. You can imagine if an organization can lock a massive hospital down. So that is how powerful they are. So when carrying out your job, make sure you focus on the major things, on the right things that you need to focus on. If you do not have the necessary training to carry out a particular activity, please don't do it. Whomever asks you to do it, because when the problem comes in, you're going to have to be in a hurry. I will tell you one thing. CQC, most people always say that we will complain to CQC. CQC don't listen to call. They don't address complaint. How do I put it? They don't investigate complaint. CQC don't do it there. What they normally do is this. When people, maybe they want to show their power, there are a lot of clients, there are a lot of passerbys, there are a lot of people that don't really involve in care, but they want to show that as if they care. And they report to CQC. You're accompanying yourself to CQC. What CQC normally do is just to make sure that they know the borough in which that thing actually happened. And then they will relate to that borough to investigate the issue. But they will log it. Whenever they are coming for inspection, they have that thing on that company port. That's what they call port. Every company have got their own port, where whatever they have, any incident or accident that happened, any safeguarding issues, that is why they lodge it. So when CQC are coming for their inspection, it will be much more easier for them to go to that place, get the necessary fact that they can lay on, and then come back and investigate the company and and inspect the company and see what really happened. Sometimes not all safeguarding issue is substantiated. If you can prove it that that thing is not substantiated and it is there, nothing will happen. They will inspect other things and then they will go. But you as a carrier, what they will ask you to do is just to fill the incident and accident report. You can imagine putting everything down. When you are putting that thing down, make sure that you are detailed enough. Don't just abbreviate anything, because you don't know how that thing will end. It can be a smaller issue, it can be a bigger issue. What you should just focus on is that you narrate your own story as it happened. You don't cover up anything. Because at the end of the day, by the time they'll add 1 to 1, 2 ends together, whatever you are covering will surely come out. So it's better to say it as it is from the word go. When you do this, it's much more easier for you that, okay, I own up if you're at fault. But if you're not at fault, just say it as it is and then move on. Nothing will happen. You do not have any problem. So, in nutshell, that is what CQC does. I really don't have much about, okay, this is what I want to add again. On CQC issue, you as a carrier, you must know laws of their regulations. You must know laws of their regulations, almost everything. You must make sure that, okay, you do not go against all these regulations as a carrier. So when issue arises, you will know the regulation they are using against you, or the one that you went against, and the one that you need to defend yourself against. So you'll be able to defend it very well. It's not just about going to your client, give them the personal care, give them the medication, and then go away. No. Social care has gone far away from that end. They want you to know absolutely everything. And doing the job, I don't know why you cannot familiarize yourself with the job you are being paid for. How do I put it? It's something that you should be able to put your mind, your heart into. Because if you wake up in your hand to go to work, it shows that that is what you're doing for a living. And if you are doing such a thing for a living, you should be able to protect it. And if you should be able to protect it, something that you want to protect, you should know more about that thing, and you know how to protect that thing. You need to protect yourself, you need to protect the client, and you need to protect the organization that you are representing. And the first one, which is personal, is much more important to anything. You should just find a way to protect yourself. And how can you protect yourself? The only way that I believe one can protect himself or herself is to know what he or she is doing. When you know your job very well, you will see some people, they've been in this job for years. I mean decades. Not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You are talking about 10, 15 years in this job. But they struggle to catch up with what is going on around them. They really don't see it anything. They see it as a routine job. This thing changes every day, every day. This job changes every day. Sometimes there is a way you maneuver your client. If research shows that that thing is not good, regulation will change it. It is not your responsibility to know that that thing has been changed, and this is the regulation that actually changed that thing, and this is the way to not do that thing. So you've got to put your mind, your heart into what you are doing. Once you have done all these things, then if any issue arises, because whether you like it or not, there are certain issues that will arise without your fault, whether you like it or not. But those people who are the aim of affair, those people who decide things, they're not stupid. They want to hear from you. They want to hear from the client. They want to hear from the organization. Everybody that knows about that thing. And they will come to conclusions. And there are possibilities that most of them will come into right conclusion. So for you to be able to know all these things, you have to know your stuff. People always say it's not just about wiping the bomb and then get away. No. This job has gone past the level of just wiping the bomb and then leave. No, it has gone past the level. It has gone to the level of you knowing how to even use computer, how to be able to log in, log out, how to be able to log your reports, how you should be able to, medication, you have to train yourself, whether you like it or not. If you don't know how to, if you're not trained on how to administer medication, no. It's one thing you are trained how to do all these things. It's another thing you don't miss the way. I mean, your attitude do not change everything, because if you have all this kind of nonchalant attitude, it doesn't matter. is not working. It won't work in this job. So CQC, Care Quality Commission are there to regulate this field, and there's nothing you can do. If your organization does regulated activity, as I said, personal care, they will come for inspection one way or the other. Though there are a few things that I don't really agree with them, with the way they do their jobs, but because I have lots of experience about them, lots of experience about them. And I've read it also, and I've heard it on TV about the same thing happened to another organization. If you are within a franchise setup, business setup, and you bear the same name with another organization, like, I won't mention another organization, let's say you just said Heaven Care Services, and there is a lot of Heaven Care Services. If one branch have got problem, CQC will scrutinize all other branches. And there is possibility they will scrutinize it even beyond the way they should be scrutinizing. Meaning, they have different background. It's just that because of franchising system, the name are the same. They will still come there. I don't buy into that thing. But they've revolved it. They don't do such a thing. That they regulated, they inspect each organization according to their own merits, which I don't really believe most of the time. So you as a carer, just do your best. Once you know you've done your best, and if you are struggling, don't ask your colleague, ask your manager. Ask your manager. You know you pass the information to your manager. You don't tell them when problem arises from nothing that it was my mate, it was my colleague that said this, said this. That colleague that you think will support you immediately will deny you. You are just a mere colleague. You are not a member of the same family or anything. Go there as yourself, and everything will be all right. Yeah, that is that. Another one I want to talk about now is cultural differences. This always happens a lot. It's happened a lot within domiciliary care setup, whereby because of where most of them come from, most of us come from, the way we do things where we come from is totally different from the way they do things here or in this country. We're not doing things the same way. So no matter how well you are trained, there are a lot of well-trained carers, they were well-trained, but they still make the same mistake. You see client complaining about them, but when they speak to you, you'll be thinking that, okay, they know their stuff, they are very, very good, they are qualified to look after you, but there are certain things that are missing. And it shouldn't only be about, I know my stuff, I'm very, very good, all those things. If you are not relating with your environment, there are a lot of things that will be lacking in your job. I will still come to the side of example, so people will know what I'm talking about. In terms of food preparation, housekeeping, there are ways that all these people do their own thing. Like in the case of, okay, you're doing the dishes, you're washing the plates. Where we come from, we just clean it, we wash it, and then lay it on our roller, what do they call it? But here, you've got to dry it off. That one of all always cause an issue. Always cause an issue. No matter what you do, and you will say, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. The man just hate me. The man is even a racist. That one is a racist. No, most of the time they are not racist. It's not about racial thing. It's about few bits and pieces that we are leaving out. If you are able to put all these things together, you will realize that, come on, they actually love me. I'm only doing some few things differently. So what I normally tell my carer is this. When you get to your client, it doesn't take you anything. If I'm sending you to somebody, that you'll be looking after for a day, 2, 3, 4, let's say a week, let's say a month. You've got to know the person very well. You've got to familiarize yourself with that person very well. And your environment. If they need certain things that you don't know how to do, like I've got another client too one time that, okay, whenever they give him food, the man won't eat that food. You just look at the food and go. You just leave it at the food and tell the carer, okay, go. When the carer comes back there for the lunch call, that food will be there. You're not eating your food. I said, I'm okay, I'm not eating. What do you want me to prepare you for lunch? This, and this. When they provide the same thing for lunch, or different thing, that particular thing for lunch, and they serve him, he will leave that thing there, he will not eat it. The carer will come back, and one day, the carer just told me, this man is not eating. And I called the son. The son said, I don't know, that's my dad. According to him, that's my dad. But we realized that that's not just his dad. Something is missing. So one day what we did is that during, what's his name, webbing visits, and then we started talking to him, all this, everything. And the man now said, the way the food is being served, it's not good enough. You can imagine that. You are a carer. You are not kitchen assistant. Or you are not a chef. So why should you know how to serve a food? They said there's a way to cut through bread. There's a way to cut through certain things, a toast. So, and because of that, the man won't eat the food. And we sent somebody who knew how to do all those things. And she did it, and it was like, wow, this is what I want. But take a step back. That is not your job. Your job is to look after him. That is in practice. But on paper, one of your job is to prepare food for your client. Prepare their meal. So if it will just take you a bit of extra effort to go to the YouTube, to go and learn all these things, it doesn't take you anything. Just put that thing on YouTube. I bet you will see most of those things there. So you'll be able to know that, okay, this is how to prepare this is how to prepare that, this is how to prepare this. I've seen a carer, well-experienced carer, that whenever she goes to a client, the client will just say, I don't want that person, I don't want that person. They will just call the office, I don't want that person, I don't want that person. I got to a stage, she doesn't have any job. She doesn't really have any job because of all these little things. At the beginning, whenever you inform that about, no, this is what they are complaining of, you need to gel with your clients. You need to know your client very well. You need to get into the environment of your clients. Let them feel your presence. But if you just walk in, feel your presence positively, not negatively. But if you just walk in, you do things in your own way. That part of the care is not person-centered anymore. So I can get you. You are not a chef. You are not kitchen assistants that should know how to make sure that, okay, when you do a toast, you have to cut it through the side of the bread or through the middle of the whole thing. No, that's not your job. But 9 out of 10 times, that is what people always complain about. But most of the time, we relate it to a race. It's not about race. Most of the time, it's about the cultural differences. Sometimes people talk loosely, and it came to backfire against them, which is not right. But that is what they've used to. The way we speak, the way we relate with people, the way we respond to questions, the way we attend to them. If we're able to just put a few finishing touches to it, I bet you, there are a lot of things that, okay, it will be much more easier for us. It will be much more easier for you. It will be much easier for me, for everybody. But if you continue the way, okay, this is the way I know, you will not only lose. With time, you will continue to get yourself into trouble. Because this is what normally happens. When they report to one, when they report you for the first time, and it leads to investigation. What recruitment policy said is that you have to be on suspension at that particular point in time, meaning you'll be losing money until they finish investigation. Now imagine they now find out it's because of you don't know how to cough, what are they talking about? And again, if you realize this, to be on the safer side, you as a carer, even if you cannot go to the extra mile, to be on the safer side, make sure you report these things on time. Make sure you report it on time. Immediately you know about clients trying to be asking for more than what you should be doing. You need to report. Don't just, some carer will tell you, I've been writing it down on my communication record sheet. That communication record sheet will not get to me on the next 3 weeks. A lot will have happened before that, the 3rd week. So how will I be able to, even when it gets to me the next 3 weeks, I might not be able to read it on the next 1 month in order to audit it because of job loads. So make sure that you report whatever you're doing. Don't just hold everything to yourself, thinking that, okay, that is a problem, or that is his problem. If you eat my food, he will eat my food. If he doesn't want to eat the food, doesn't want to, I've done the main job that I need to do. That is one side. And the drying of the plate, this is just a norm. Go to anywhere. If you've been in the system for long, and when they tell you that, don't take it to be it's more than what it should be. That is just the extra mile. I always tell carer when they say the time is not enough. Most of the time is enough. If you are doing a job, 30 minutes today, and the next 1 week, you are using the same 30 minutes to do that job, then that is, you don't know what you're doing. The more you get to do a job, the more you get to know how to do it much more faster because you get used to it. So there is possibility 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, there even another time. You will come. They will tell you, I don't need anything. It doesn't take you anything to do those extras. You do it. That is why you have to be caring and compassionate when you're doing this job. This job is not just for anybody. So this is where I'm going to stop for today. What do we talk about today? We talk about CQC. They regulate all the regulated activities throughout the country. They make sure that you guys you follow the laid down regulations, policies and procedures. And then whenever they come for the inspection, they like to hear from you. I don't know. And then the cultural differences when you're delivering your care. Most of the time, it's not just about racial thing. It's about us trying to blend to the culture of this place. And I hope we'll be able to do it. With all these things, if you put everything right, you won't be in problem. So, to you guys at home, I think I've done a bit of justice to the topic. So if you have any question, you can put it under the comment, and I will handle that perfectly. So, you guys, until next week again, I said, bye.